under the glowing lights of Abu Dhabi's dazzling Etihad Arena, a tension unlike anything else in the world of boxing hung in the air, thick, humming, electric. The kind of silence that isn't truly silence, but the calm before thunder. Two unbeaten fighters, two flawless records, two men walking into a collision course that would define legacies. On one side stood Dmitry Bivol, the reigning and defending WBA light heavyweight champion, a technician of the highest order, a man whose discipline was carved into every movement of his body. He walked toward the ring with the cold composure of a general heading into battle, unshaken, unreadable, undeniable. Across from him was the giant Mexican contender, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, 44 wins, 30 knockouts, and a dream burning behind his eyes. He had chased this moment for years, believing that the belt Bivol held was always meant to be his. The crowd, roaring in Spanish, cheering in Russian, chanting in Arabic, felt like one living organism vibrating with anticipation. The announcer's voice boomed as Ramirez was introduced, the undefeated WBA #1 contender, Zurdo Ramirez. The arena erupted. Moments later, the skillful, the confident, the reigning, defending, undefeated champion, Dmitry Bivol. A different kind of roar rose, deeper, more resonant, as though the very building acknowledged his mastery. The referee pulled them in. "Okay, guys, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck. God bless you." Gloves touched, eyes locked. Brothers of craft but rivals in destiny. This wasn't just a title fight. This was the meeting of two unbeaten worlds. And as the opening bell rang, the air snapped like a cable pulled too tight. The war for the WBA championship, skill versus volume, precision versus pressure, had begun. The first round opened like a chess match played at hyperspeed. Bivol, in the black trunks, slid around the ring with masterful ease, tapping his jab like he was testing the temperature of the fight. Ramirez, draped in the white, green, and red of Mexico, extended his long southpaw jab, trying to crowd the champion with size and range. Every feint from Bivol drew a reaction. Every step from Ramirez drew a counterstep. Yet within those early minutes, the tone was already being set. Bivol's footwork, so subtle it almost seemed effortless, was beginning to draw Ramirez into traps. Zurdo reached with a long left hand, but Bivol saw it coming like a distant signal, sliding inside and drilling a precise right hand down the middle. "Nice shot" from Bivol echoed through ringside. Ramirez tried to answer by stepping forward, throwing a hard body shot that thudded with intent, but it didn't slow Bivol. Instead, the champion took center ring, a symbolic declaration. "This is my territory." By the second round, the pattern sharpened. Ramirez marched forward, his gloves high, his intentions loud. But every time he closed in, Bivol stepped half an inch out of range, made him miss by a fraction, then punished him instantly. Short jabs, crisp lead rights, a quick three-punch combination before sliding back into safety. Commentators questioned whether this would be Bivol's toughest test, but the answer began forming early. Ramirez's pressure was predictable, and the champion was already seeing everything. In the third, Zurdo tried letting his hands go. 4, 5, 6-punch combinations, but Bivol's defense absorbed, blocked, or angled away from nearly all of it. Then came the moment that drew the crowd to its feet. Ramirez overreached, and Bivol fired a perfect counter right that snapped Zurdo's head back. The arena gasped. A message was sent. The champion had found the rhythm. As the fight moved into the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, the real separation between the fighters became unmistakable. Ramirez continued applying pressure, but pressure without precision is merely forward motion, and Bivol thrived on it. He began dictating the pace, throwing sharp three-punch bursts before Ramirez could reset, attacking angles that the Mexican powerhouse simply couldn't match. In the 5th, Ramirez launched a determined offensive, throwing combinations aimed at the head and body, hoping to break Bivol's composure. But Bivol's reflexes told a different story. He parried the first punch, ducked the second, and countered the third with a compact uppercut. The crowd roared at the display of mastery. Ramirez nodded in respect, but he couldn't close the gap. Bivol's corner told him to stay disciplined, avoid reckless exchanges, and continue exploiting Zurdo's wide openings. And Bivol executed this with the precision of a surgeon. Ramirez's corner grew louder, calling for more volume, more urgency, more risk. "He's adjusted," one coach shouted, urging the Mexican star to break through. And to his credit, Ramirez tried. He fired combinations to the body, attempting to slow Bivol's movement. He stepped in with a long left hand that finally found its mark in the sixth, earning a rare moment of success. But Bivol immediately responded with a flurry. 2 jabs, a right hand, then another jab as he spun off the ropes, retaking center ring like a king reclaiming his throne. Commentators highlighted Bivol's complete control. Inside, outside, against the ropes, nothing seems to faze him. Even as Ramirez momentarily found momentum, the champion never allowed him to build on it. In these middle rounds, Bivol didn't just win exchanges, he dismantled Ramirez's strategy piece by piece, showing why some believed he was the pound-for-pound best boxer on the planet. Entering the 8th, 9th, and 10th rounds, the urgency in Ramirez's corner intensified. They knew the truth. Zurdo was falling behind on the scorecards. To win, he needed more than effort. He needed a moment of brilliance, a breakthrough, something to shake Bivol's control. And in these championship rounds, he tried. He pressed harder, cut off the ring with more conviction, and targeted the body with hooks that echoed through the arena. For the first time, the fight became physically grueling. Ramirez's punches dug deep. Bivol felt them, respected them, but still outworked them. Then came Bivol's surge. After a brief quiet spell, the champion erupted in the 9th, unleashing dazzling sequences: jab, jab, right hand, pivot, uppercut, hook, angle out, back to the center. It was a masterclass in timing and distance. Ramirez kept coming, fueled by heart and Mexican pride. But every time he stepped in, he was met with precision. By the 10th, the scorecard showed a mountain Ramirez could not climb without a miracle. Bivol even walked forward at times, a rare display of aggression from the calm technician, forcing the Mexican challenger back with clean, hard shots. Ramirez's corner shouted, "Go for it. You need the knockout." But doing so against Bivol, one of the most defensively sound fighters in the sport, was nearly impossible. Still, Zurdo never stopped trying. He threw body shots, winged hooks, desperate combinations. He wanted the exchange. He wanted the moment. And yet, Bivol's discipline held firm. Even when Zurdo pushed him into the corner, the champion slipped away, spun out, and countered with crisp accuracy. These rounds showcased the heart of Ramirez, but also the undeniable brilliance of Dmitry Bivol. When the 12th and final round began, the stakes were clear. Ramirez needed a knockout. Bivol needed discipline. The crowd stood. Ramirez charged forward like a man determined to seize destiny, throwing hooks at the body, forcing Bivol toward the ropes. He wanted war. He wanted the exchange that could change history. But Bivol, even in the storm, remained composed. He slipped the first hook, parried the second, and fired a sharp counter right that moved Ramirez backward. Even then, Zurdo pressed on, fueled by pride, not wanting to let his unbeaten record slip away without a final stand. The arena buzzed with emotion, Mexican fans urging Zurdo to gamble everything, Russian supporters roaring as Bivol delivered crisp, punishing counters. Midway through the round, Bivol unleashed one of his most dominant sequences of the fight: jab, right hand, left hook, pivot, right hand again. Ramirez felt the weight of every shot, but still he swung back. Still he tried. Still he fought like a man refusing to surrender. As the final seconds approached, Bivol began unloading. Sharp combinations, perfect footwork, flawless defense even as he attacked. Ramirez absorbed the blows, responded with heart, and the two warriors closed the show, trading leather until the bell rang and history was sealed. The crowd erupted as the fighters embraced respect from one unbeaten warrior to another. The announcer stepped forward. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the judges. Scorecards. A tense pause. All three judges score the bout for your winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, and still the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol. The arena exploded. Bivol lifted his gloves, not in arrogance, but in acknowledgement. He had delivered a masterclass. Ramirez, humbled yet proud, had shown heart. And in Abu Dhabi that night, the world witnessed the brilliance of a champion at the peak of his powers.